Hi guys and welcome to my channel. This is going to be a fun video of turning a sesame bean, a macaron, Labubu into the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. So if you've never seen Stranger Things and you don't know what a Demogorgon is, I will put a picture up right here of what a Demogorgon looks like. So that is what we are going to be attempting to turn this little guy into today. I always post shorter videos of my Labubu customizations and you can watch these over on my Instagram or on the short form page of my YouTube channel. If you do want to stick around and watch me turn this into this, then keep on watching. So I have had this sesame bean macaron Labubu sitting in my space for a while, and with the release of the brand new season of Stranger Things, I thought it would be only fitting to turn this into a Demogorgon. So in order to create the petals for the Demogorgon's head, I know they're probably not petals, but I have no idea what they are, so I'm just going to call them petals. If you know the correct term, feel free to enlighten me in the comments. I would love to know the correct term so I can stop calling them petals. So basically I made a pattern for said petals out of paper so I could trace onto a fabric so I could cut them out to dye. This is just really helpful to make sure all the petals are the exact same size and they match up when I'm sewing them together. So I'm now going to dye my petals, and it's very important that I try and get this grey as close to the Labubu colour as I possibly can. To dye these petals I am using a rich synthetic fibre dye in the colour graphite, and I am just going to pour the tiniest amount of this dye in this pot because I want to get as grey and light as I possibly can. And I'm honestly pretty proud of how perfect I ended up getting the colour to come out. It does look a little bit dark on camera, but when it dries, it does dry lighter. So I am now just stitching all of my petal pieces together. Yes, I am chilling in my living room with my onesie on doing this because it's absolutely freezing here in the UK right now, so comfort is a must. Once I've stitched all my pieces together, I am just adding a little bit of stuffing to each one because I don't want them to be completely flat. So now my petals are complete for now. I'm going to put them aside and I'm going to concentrate on making the many teeth that a Demogorgon has. If anyone is curious, I do use fimo polymer clay, and for the smaller details like this I use the soft version. I probably ended up making too many teeth, but I wanted to have too much than not enough. We're going to move on from those extra pieces for now, and I'm just going to focus on getting a face paint layer on this doll. I did end up going with a deep red shade because the face of the Labubu is going to end up being the inside of the Demogorgon's mouth. Yes, I know it sounds weird, you just gotta trust me on this. I did end up giving the eyes some detail using my acrylic paint markers from arrtx because I just didn't want him to look plain, and I did decide to draw all of the Labubu teeth back in white because a Demogorgon can never have too many teeth and it's just going to look like the inside layer anyway. I added a nice black round smile over those teeth just because why not emphasis those teeth a little bit more. Now I'm just painting the hands and the feet to match the Labubu's fur, and I also paint the ears as well just because I wanted it all to be cohesive even if you're not going to see these parts anyway. The dark grey on the inside of the ears, I did change this to a nice white, and I also added some nice cute little white demo toes. I had to paint the nails. I paint the nails on every single one of my customs. It just doesn't feel right if I don't paint the nails, and I also changed the tag to a grey colour just for it to be more cohesive as well. Now I'm using a red felt and I'm just cutting out that pattern that I made at the beginning for my petals to go on the inside, and look at that magic transition. Now they are all cut out. I honestly wish it was that fast in real life. I would save so much time. Now I'm just taking my handy dandy hot glue gun and gluing down all of those petals around the face, and this is where it started to feel like my vision was coming to life, like something I had thought of in my mind I was able to bring to life, and that is so satisfying. I'm adding some more details onto those eyes because it was honestly like looking into a dark void and it was creeping me out a little bit, and I had to add in those eye shinies. I add them to every single one of my custom. I know he's a dangerous Demogorgon, but he's also just a baby. And now I'm adding on that red felt that I cut out to the inside of my petals to make it look more like an open mouth. At the time of filming this voiceover, I have not yet watched the first 4 parts of season 5, so please do not post any spoilers in the comments. We are so excited to watch it, so please don't post any. I would love to know what your guys' favourite Stranger Things characters are in the comments below though. Mine is Dustin, and I also really love Max. I am really rooting for her in this final season. I am not even going to go into Eddie's character because his ending absolutely had me bawling, and I had to take a week off. It traumatized me. But look, here we are. We have finally made it to the home stretch, and I am adding on those 1001 teeth that I made, and it is coming together. Now I was very peculiar on where I put these teeth because I didn't want it to look too overcrowded, but then again it is a Demogorgon's mouth and their mouth is absolutely filled with teeth. so it was very conflicting for me. I wanted it to kind of look semi-realistic, but you know, that completely went out the window when I decided to combine a Labubu and a Demogorgon together. But I really do like how I ended up placing the teeth. I think they look really cohesive, and I think it just comes together in the end. So there is all of our teeth placed, and what do you know, I am going in with my acrylic paint marker and I am adding more teeth because, once again, Demogorgon's mouth. They're full of teeth. If you ended up missing it because I've been blabbering on, I did go around the inside of the Labubu's face, the inside of the Demogorgon's mouth, with a dark black pastel, just to add some more shading and depth. And I also do the same thing around the base of the teeth because I wanted them to look like they were popping out of the mouth and not just sitting flat. Just a quick shading 101 lesson for you. If you are doing a custom that has this much detail, you are going to want to add as much depth as you can because it does really bring it to life. Adding some of the last details, I am putting my signature on the Labubu's foot and the one on the other one. So here he is on the shelf with my other customs. I put him in the middle because that's kind of where I put all the Halloween horror version ones, but I'll probably end up changing the setup the more customs I create. I think he fits in absolutely perfect. And here he is, my Demogorgon Labubu all finished. I am so proud with how he turned out and how much detail I managed to get into this custom. Love this Labubu customization as much as I do and want to see more fun art videos in the future, then subscribe to the channel because I will be posting more content in the new year. But for now, bye, and I will see you in the next one.